that's the effort that you give, woof, BT. I mean, I don't know if you could have drawn up a worse start for the New York Giants.
You mean LT and Eli and Coffman, they didn't like what they saw?
I mean,
my God almighty, that was disgraceful by the New York Giants yesterday. That was repulsive. Like in the sporting sense, that was just straight up repulsive. And the fans were booing 2 minutes into the game, which tells you they went in there predisposed to get all over that quarterback, who nobody believes in, at least in terms of the fan base. And I guess the front office maybe has to at least pretend that they still believe in him a little bit because they gave him that foolish extension. But it wasn't just Daniel Jones. Listen, the Giants don't look very talented, all right, and in terms of the one game. And we knew that the third level, we talked about this on Friday, would be a big issue.
Yeah.
But they at least do have some other assets around the field. I don't think that they're talentless, although they didn't look talented yesterday. But what I think to me is most disconcerting is they didn't look prepared. They didn't look ready to play football. Now, again, we can micro, where was Kayvon Thibodeaux? Where was Burns? Yeah. Jones, the O-line, third-level mistakes, questionable play calling. Can you take some shots down the field, which they really did not? They did not look prepared to play football.
Well, I think that's a theme of the NFL, and we'll get more into that later around the league. But you had the delay of game, the 12 men in the huddle, the false start, sloppy, unacceptable mess. I don't care if you didn't practice or not, or play in the preseason or not. That cannot happen. And I guess to me that's the most discouraging thing and most frustrating thing about this. Like, we'll get to the defense and break that down and the invisibility of Kayvon Thibodeaux. He's amazing out there. He just disappears. You can't even see him sometimes. But we'll get to Kayvon Thibodeaux and Burns and the defense overall. To me, the most disappointing thing is the fact that we, at the very least, even if you don't have high hopes for the Giants, can they throw the damn football down the field? I mean, they drafted Malik Neighbors. Everybody tell me, Neighbors is great. The offensive line is so much better. Jalen Hyatt's going to be moved to number 2, another draft pick by them. What? Can you move the football? I mean, that is as embarrassing and pathetic as an offense. Daboll takes over play calling, and it looks even worse than what it did before. It's just unacceptable on every level possible. They did not look like, all the other teams around the league, you could say they're sloppy play in general. Sam Darnold didn't miss. He is a backup quarterback who we saw up close and in person for years with the Jets. You want to say he's better? Fine. He's not Joe Montana. Sam Darnold comes in here, he's hitting every completion, so why can't the Giants throw the damn football down the field? Period. End of scoring. Like, scoring a touchdown should not be that hard.
Yeah, especially you get a turnover. And I remember saying, I'm sitting on the couch, I said to my son, if they don't get a touchdown here.
Yeah, it's over.
It's going. Now, again, so a fairly fatalistic approach that early in the game. But you just get to certain teams need to pop early. Certain players, Daniel Jones needs to feel some adulation early, and I didn't know if they'd score, but when they didn't score, I'm saying that is a really ominous sign. And bottom line is this: the New York Giants, since the 6-1 start back in 2022, they are 9-18-1 since, okay? So I know that Wink Martindale was a big problem yesterday. Well, Wink's last year, Wink's gone, and yesterday, Sam Darnold looked like a phenomenal football player. Now, I think he's a lot better than you do. Yeah. We talked about that as well. I've always thought, listen, a byproduct of what's around you, whether it's scheme, whether it's O-line, whether it's weapons. Not that Sam Darnold's terrific, but I think he's more viable than you.
And by the way, the Giants get at him as their starter, no? I mean, the Vikings do.
Yeah, he would, yes.
I mean, he was significantly better than Daniel Jones.
But here's the scary thing, because you just said, can you throw the football down the field? This is why the Giants have massive problems, because it's not one thing. And this is the reason why the Giants were picked to win 5-6 games in most betting circles. Not that they're always right, but they're obviously leaning on a ton of information where they base that win projection. They didn't throw the ball down the field, and we could, quite frankly, Sal, do the next hour on that. But then conversely, they couldn't stop the opposing quarterback either. So you're not getting downfield. And if that game was a little tighter, meaning they didn't just have to bleed out the clock, Sam Darnold would have gone for 350.
Yeah.
Like he would have.
But sometimes the Giants, this defense lets him do that. That's what Bowens does, and he'll be good in the red zone. I'm not going to go. Now, look, the pass rush has to be there. If the Giants can't get to the quarterback, they're screwed. Like, there's just no way. We know the secondary is limited, although I like Phillips as a player, and I do love Deonte Banks. Again, individual talent, so they got to get better as a team. But if they can't get to the quarterback with Kayvon Thibodeaux and Burns, they're dead. End of story, period. But Brian Daboll, see, to me, the reason why I thought the Giants we're going to be a team that could be competitive, like we saw a couple years ago, is because of the coaching. I thought the coaching staff would be better this year. Addition by subtraction with Wink, and I know the schemes and all that stuff, but just Daboll being, maybe learning from last year and also improving on what he did a couple years ago, having more talent here than he's had before, just be competitive. And Daboll yesterday, the team was not coached well.
No.
That's a major problem. So we know where the limitations are talent-wise. I don't know what anybody expected of Daniel Jones, but, my God, was he even worse than we could imagine. But the coaching was not where it needed to be yesterday for the New York Giants.
Sal, you look at the Dallas Cowboys going into Cleveland against a good Cleveland defense, okay? And Dallas, they absolutely punked them. Dallas going to win 12 games, whatever it's going to be, 11 or 13, in the neighborhood. I know Philly wasn't perfect Friday night, right? I know Saquon, oh my God,
yeah.
The 3 touchdowns. But Jalen Hurts was good, but he also made some mistakes. But you just know that you just watched a quarter of the Cowboys. They're miles better than the Giants. You watch a quarter of the Eagles, miles better. And when they play head-to-head, the results back up that assertion, not to mention the optics of the start to this season. Where are the Giants going? Honestly, I don't know what people expect. I get it. There's losing a game where you look functional, and then there's getting your teeth kicked in where you look disheveled and disjointed and uninspired. And that it's the latter. And that's what's going to create the stir and the emotion that Giant fans feel today. But what'd you expect?
I was ready for the NFL and to watch NFL football, and what the New York Giants put on film yesterday and put out there for all of us to see was not NFL football. It's simple as that.
Nope.
And even afterward, Daboll's like, "Oh yeah, we'll be fine." What? Dude, I'd be livid at my team for that mess, that embarrassing slop that you put out there to start the season at home against the Vikings. Unacceptable. And we'll get to Daniel Jones, and we'll get to what it means moving forward. We'll do all that. We got plenty of time here as we go to 2 o'clock. Let's get to your calls right now. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Steven is in Brooklyn. What's up, Steven?
Hey, guys, what a disappointing game. Real quickly, you guys are exactly right. Brian Daboll did not have this team prepared. We're waiting months for this first game. They were not prepared. And here's the biggest thing is, very simple. Minnesota rushed 4, dropped back everybody in coverage. So when you want to say take shots down the field, Daniel Jones was check down Charlie. There was no plays out there. So how about...
And he can't even do that right.
Run the ball.
He can't even check it down right. For goodness sake, it's infuriating.
How about running the ball, make adjustments, play action, things like that, establish the run. They threw the ball 42 times. They ran the ball 14 times. They never established that from the beginning. So he better maybe give the play calling back to Kafka or figure something out. But it's going to be a long season, I'll tell you right now.
Well, it's going to be a long season, agreed. But it's going to be longer if you actually thought the Giants were going to be really good this year or really competitive, which I did not. There's a reason why, and I know that it seems insane, and you and I really, I know sometimes we get a little nuts, but to our credit, we did try to navigate this in a conservative manner. Like when we talked about Friday, if you don't win this game, it's basically must win. And again, that seems crazy. First game of 17, but you had to win this game. And at the very least, you had to at least show up and play a competitive brand of football. They looked like they weren't even interested.
Well, that's the key to me. Winning the game obviously is of the most importance. And we said that they had to win the game, all those reasons that you said there. But even if they lost the game and showed signs of encouragement, You'd be like, you know what? Sucks that they lost. They should have won the game. But at least they looked like an NFL football team. All they do is they barely even take field goals. It's pathetic. And you want to talk about Daboll just took over the play calling. Like the next step is you're out. You can't. This is such a mess. Honestly, it's such a mess, and there's so many layers to it that we're not even getting to it all in the first 12 minutes of the show.
You can't. There was so much.
But we're going to do it like when we'll take the calls here. When we come back, I'm going to get more into the depth of Daboll and Daniel Jones. But It's so bad on so many levels. That performance, oh my God, that was worse, BT, than a year ago where they got washed on Sunday night. The difference is because at least then you could expect it to a certain extent, being that it's Dallas. In this particular case, it's a new year for the Giants. They should be better because they're more talented. They actually have, at least on paper, some weapons at wide receiver, specifically Neighbors. The defense should be still okay. Jones is healthy. Daboll calling plays and you're playing the Vikings, not the Cowboys. And you still get washed. Can't even move the football. It's freaking embarrassing. Tyler is in Trumbull, Connecticut. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, what's up, boys? Only word to say is disgusting. It's September 9th, and I cannot wait for the New York Knicks to play basketball. What world are we living in where we're begging for New York Knicks basketball? How bad you have to be as a New York Giant fan to beg for New York Knicks basketball? I told the wife, strawberry picking, apple picking, it doesn't matter. Next Sunday is yours.
Whoa, Tyler, hold on, Tyler. Whoa. The apple picking, the cherry pick. Oh, no, you're not there already.
Don't do that yet.
Already?
Come on, man.
I mean,
watch the red zone. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, that's a rookie move. I mean, you got to do that, pre-Labor Day. I understand that it's going to be pretty bleak, I think, for the Giants, but you're already tapping out and setting up the apple picking dates. I'd rather watch, the Panthers get smoked by the Saints by 40 than go apple picking on a football Sunday.
There is an extreme overreaction. I get it. It's frustrating. Let's just focus for now on what happened yesterday before you start worrying about what's going to happen week 2 and beyond. Yesterday was unacceptable. And Daboll, maybe trying to show some of that new personality and not fire, not have that fire, was afterwards like, oh, we got to clean some stuff. Clean some stuff up, bro. Did you watch that? Clean some stuff up. That is as bad as it gets. Your team was pathetic. That was pathetic on many, many different layers of the football game. It's almost like he was just resigned saying, hey, basically this is preseason. We didn't play in the preseason. This is week 1. This is what it is in the NFL now, which I think there is some truth to that, but you still can't get embarrassed like that by Minnesota.
I got to tell you just hit on something interesting here and we spoke about this great detail on Friday. Obviously, during snippets of the show, you listen to BT and Sal. Once training camp started, I was saying this. Not everybody agreed. I don't think that Daboll's job status is as sturdy as many people seem to believe. I'm not going to tell you why again because it's going to take forever. But the bottom line is this. What he can't do is suppress his energy because that's part of what makes him an interesting.
Right, but you're also saying, you said last week, well, he's got to tone it down a little bit.
He's got to direct it properly. He's got to channel it properly. You could still get on your team, but if we suddenly start seeing passive, at least public. I know he's not doing this in the locker room, and he's not. I know he's not doing this in the locker room, and I know it's driving him. The first series you can see was turning bright red, but I think that if he's too cognizant of, I don't want to say appeasing people, but changing the narrative of him being too much of a loose wire, then it's over. Because that's part of who he is. He's just got to refine it. The wing stuff wasn't a great look. The stuff with Kafka, some other coaches. But he can't become vanilla Daboll. That ain't going to work either.
We got to clean some stuff up. And he said it in such a, like you said, vanilla way. That's not Daboll. And that's not the tone to have after yesterday's embarrassment. Mark is calling from Clark, New Jersey. What's up, Mark?
Guys, good morning. Long time no talk.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, what's up? So, BT, I agree with you. I mean, with the Giants, I didn't go into this season expecting perfection, but I did expect competitiveness. And yesterday, I'm not going to curse here. This team effing sucks. Everything about this game sucks or sucked. Daniel Jones is not getting the ball down the field. Like Sal said, you have a brand new receiver, Malik Neighbors. At least try to throw the ball up to him and let him make a play. Just at least try that. I mean, you're throwing 14 runs and then all that passing for not. Stupid interceptions.
Mark, real quick, this is an important point here. I know it's easy and it's with merit to beg on Daboll here. They didn't look prepared. But the one thing that he did say, and he didn't really crush Jones, but I thought the implication was there if you really listen for it. He was asked, why didn't you take some shots down the field? He said, we did. He basically said, we did. And without saying, my quarterback didn't chuck it down the field.
Right.
So to be fair to Daboll, I think they had some deep shots called. Jones just didn't let it fly.
Okay. We'll get to what this means for the Giants moving forward and where we're at, right? Because we felt differently going into the year. You're saying the same thing. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, where maybe it's not that bad when we come back.
Okay.
But I need to say this.
Not that bad.
I need to say
I got to hear this.
Yeah, and I need to say this first, though, about Daniel Jones. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I've been begging. I've been screaming before UBT on the overnight for years. I can't do it anymore. I cannot sit there and tell my wife and daughter I am not going to spend the Sunday with them because Daddy needs to watch football for work, and ignore all the other games that are going around the league because I usually like that for entertainment purposes, but my job is the Giants, and this is what I care about. Giants and Jets. That's where I truly care about. That's the storylines that I'm invested in. I can't do it anymore. Where you sit there at 1 o'clock, you throw on the game, and watch Daniel Jones attempt to play quarterback. I can't do it anymore. It's year 6. It is year 6. Enough. This is why I hated the pick of Neighbors. It's not Neighbors. They need a quarterback. How many weeks and years do we got to watch Daniel Jones? I'm begging. I can't do it anymore. Daniel Jones. How could you be worse than that? You got significantly outplayed by Sam Darnold. I can't watch him anymore, BT. I'm sorry. I said this before the year. I said it all offseason. This is why I knew it was going to be a problem. I can't watch him attempt to play quarterback. It's impossible to watch. Impossible.
Tommy.
I'm not even saying I would do that.
I know.
Like, this is Shane.
Man.
You talked about it on Friday, saying that I don't know if I forget if you said hot seat specifically, but like these two guys may be a little bit more on.
Yeah, I don't think that their future's as solid as most people do.
My biggest issue,
and I like them both, to be fair, but yeah.
My biggest issue with them is that they chose Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm. I know. Gettleman chose him first. They elected to retain him, and so they, in essence, chose him as well.
And that's and they did it like when Joe Douglas mistakenly chooses Zach Wilson over Sam Darnold, or just Zach Wilson in general.
Yeah.
There's like there wasn't at least enough for him to see. Now he made a mistake, but he didn't see Zach Wilson play for 3 years in the NFL before. Shane and Daboll did see Daniel Jones play.